Weird things you didn't know about Marie Antoinette. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Marie Antoinette? Probably a lavish lifestyle, certainly a cake, and an untimely death. The ill-fated Queen of France is mostly remembered for two things: losing her head and uttering the callous phrase, "Let them eat cake." Though it is indeed true she was the last queen in the history of France, there's definitely more to it. Hello, friends. Well, if you often fantasize about the past and really want to know about the history of ancient civilizations, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Unthinkable Past, a channel better known for dishing up the outlandish ancient traditions of all times. Well, it's the late 18th century, and the opulent French court is the epicenter of fashion, art, and politics. At the heart of it all is the Queen, Marie Antoinette, known for her extravagant image and lavish lifestyle, to whom the public used to look up as the shining symbol of royalty and the embodiment of the French monarchy's grandeur. But beneath the glitz and glamour, there are some truly bizarre stories that you've probably never heard before, the things they don't really teach you about in history class. In this video, we'll delve into the weird and fascinating world of Marie Antoinette and reveal some of the most unexpected and scandalous facts about her life. Yeah, from her rumored secret lover to accusations of incest, and even more. You won't want to miss a second of this historical deep dive. So are you ready to unravel the mysteries of one of history's most fascinating figures? Then let's dive in, starting with her origin. That's definitely not French. Yeah, you heard it right. Though she died as the Queen of France, Marie Antoinette was actually born as Archduchess of Austria on November 2nd, 1755, to one of the most powerful women in Europe. Well, okay. Her mother was Empress Maria Theresa, the Holy Roman Empire's hereditary ruler. Maria Theresa was in fact a legend and a fearless leader who defended her dynasty against those who doubted a woman's ability to control the Habsburg Empire. Getting to her childhood, interestingly, she was a bit of a tomboy. In royal terms, Marie had a wonderful childhood. She grew up virtually free of most limitations of court life and was considered to be a vivacious, active youngster. She was in fact something of a tomboy who was both energetic and intellectual, always preferring activity and socialization to solitary study, a trait she brought to France with her. And after she came to the French court, she made it clear to the then King Louis XV, her new grandfather-in-law, that she's going to join him on his famous hunts, as she developed a passion for hunting and horseback riding, and even shocked the court by riding a strider horse while wearing breeches. Well, let's turn to her married life. Well, to your shock, Marie got married at the painfully young age of 14. Her Austrian mother and the French king somehow managed to arrange Marie Antoinette's marriage to Louis the Dauphin, and the future king of France. It was a brilliant match for an Austrian empress's young daughter, and that was meant to foster peace between France and Austria. Yet the participants were quite young. Louis was only 15, and Marie just 14. However, despite their young age, the knot was wonderfully celebrated by the two families. But just hold on, Marie's wedding gown is worth a mention here. That literally caused an uproar. Her diamond-encrusted silver wedding gown, a gift from her mother, Empress Maria Theresa, had an issue. The dressmakers had, in fact, miscalculated her measurements, and the gown was too tight. As hard as they laced up her corset, they could not get the dress to close. And there was no time for a replacement gown either. Imagine the young girl walking to meet her bridegroom, with a broad stripe of lacing and shift quite visible among thousands of people looking on. However, getting back to the couple, well, you know what? It took 7 years for the future king and queen to consummate their marriage. Though Louis was really kind to Marie, their relationship was stalled just from the beginning. The royal couple didn't consummate their marriage right away. It took years of coaxing by both Marie and her family, where Marie Theresa counseled her daughter in letters from Austria, and she even sent her son and successor Joseph II to France to give Louis a pep talk into finally bedding his wife. And it took the couple 7 years to consummate eventually. Well, did you know that Marie Antoinette gave birth to her children in full public view? This is due to a decree issued by French King Louis XIV, known as the Sun, requiring all queens and princesses to give birth in public. He reasoned that doing so would ensure that the child was legitimate and that no imposters could be inserted into the royal crib. Let's now take a look at Marie's true love of her life. Though her relationship with her husband finally worked for both of them, it failed to give her that particular flair of romantic fulfillment. And for that, she turned to a dashing young Swedish officer. Yeah, Hans Axel von Fersen met Marie Antoinette for the first time at a masquerade at Versailles in 1774, when they were both 19 years old, and von Fersen was on a grand tour around Europe. but their romance didn't begin in earnest until a few years later, when the Swedish nobleman returned to France. Their intimate friendship ignited rumors, and von Fersen fled to America to fight alongside French forces, sparing the Queen a scandal. To your awe, let me tell you here that Marie Antoinette was also accused of incest by a revolutionary tribunal. That's true. When the French Revolution got more radical and denied the notion of a constitutional monarchy, a revolutionary tribunal tried Louis XVI and his wife. Louis was the first to be guillotined. He was executed just days after his sentencing in January 1793. However, Marie was tried 6 months later. The ailing Queen's 32-hour trial was exhausting and humiliating, especially when prosecutors accused her of incest with her young son. Mustering up every ounce of dignity and courage she had, the widowed former queen delivered a reply that shamed the courtroom into silence. Nature refuses to answer such a charge brought against a mother. I appeal in this matter to all the mothers present in court. While her appeal may have restored her honor, but it did not save her life, and she was sentenced to death just as her husband had been. Not only was her death tragic, but she was also buried in an unmarked grave to be exhumed later. Following Marie's execution, her body was just placed in a coffin and dumped into a common grave behind the Church of the Madeleine. But when the Bourbon Restoration reinstated King Louis XVIII to the throne following Napoleon's exile, he ordered the bodies of his older brother, Louis XVI, and Marie Antoinette be exhumed and ritually buried alongside other French royals inside the Basilica Cathedral of Saint-Denis in 1850. Well, on a lighter note, let me tell you that Marie Antoinette was a fashionable trendsetter as well. She often used fashion to make a splash in the royal court, spent lavishly on clothing, wigs and shoes, and embraced fashion in a way only royal mistresses previously had. She also used to defy court etiquette by introducing a more casual look at her small palace on the grounds of Versailles. Moreover, her hair is the subject of enduring fascination. As Will Bashaw details in his book, Marie Antoinette's Head, royal hairstylist Léonard Hauty had become the Queen's closest confidant as he concocted her gravity-defying hairdos, which often rose to 4 feet in height. She commissioned over-the-top hairstyles to mark social occasions or prominent events, like when she convinced her husband to inoculate himself against smallpox. Hauty used to accessorize the Queen's fantastical poufs with feathers, trinkets, and on one occasion even an enormous model of the French warship La Belle Poule to commemorate its sinking of a British frigate. And finally, to your surprise, let me tell you that Marie Antoinette had probably never uttered, "Let them eat cake." Yeah, when notified that starving French peasants lacked any bread to eat, the Queen is alleged to have callously stated, "Let them eat cake." Yet there's no evidence that Marie Antoinette ever uttered that famous quip. The phrase that was meant to highlight the out-of-touch and indifferent plus dismissive French royals first appeared years before Marie Antoinette ever arrived in France in philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau's description of Marie-Thérèse, the Spanish princess who married King Louis XIV in 1660. The remark was also attributed to 2 aunts of Louis XVI, before it was apocryphally tied to Marie Antoinette. So you see, Marie Antoinette was more than just a symbol of extravagance and excess. She was a complex figure with a multitude of secrets and quirks that have largely been overlooked by history. However, we've now gained a better understanding of the woman behind the crown by diving deeper into the lesser-known areas of her life. Well, there you have it. We hope you liked this video. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel without a delay. Make sure you turn on the post notifications and also let us know in the comments section about your views on these weird things about Marie Antoinette. How many of these did you know before? Do you see her in a different light now? Thanks for watching Unthinkable Past. Until the next time we meet, continue learning and stay healthy. Goodbye.